I walked out with my coffee still hot, half awake thinking about nothing more serious than whether I had time to grab breakfast. And my driveway looked wrong. The spot where my generator trailer sat was empty clean, like it had been erased. Then I saw the bright notice on my door, towed by order of the HOA, release fee, $180. And that's when my stomach dropped, because that trailer wasn't some hobby toy I forgot to move. It was registered equipment for the volunteer fire department I serve with. Maple Crest Estates is one of those picture-perfect neighborhoods where the lawns look airbrushed and the mailboxes match. It's quiet, it's safe, and it comes with the Homeowners Association, HOA, like a coupon you didn't ask for but can't throw away. I'm Jake Miller. Day job. I'm a systems guy. Servers, networks, boring stuff that keeps other people's businesses breathing. Nights and weekends I volunteer with Red Rock Fire and Rescue because I'm wired in a way that doesn't let me ignore a siren. A couple months earlier, our station got a generator trailer assigned to the district. It's not glamorous, it's loud heavy, and it exists for the kind of nights you pray never happen. Storms, outages, wrecks where light and power suddenly matter. I offered to store it temporarily because my driveway is wide, my garage is packed, and I live close enough to be useful. The captain signed off the paperwork was clean, and we stuck the trailer on the side of my drive like a quiet insurance policy. That's where Brenda Collins came in. Brenda is the president of our HOA. If Karen was a job title, she'd have it laminated. She's the kind of person who says, "It's not personal, it's policy." Like that magically makes it less personal. 2 weeks before the tow, I got a violation letter taped to my mailbox like a scarlet letter. Unauthorized commercial vehicle. Visual nuisance. 14 days to comply. I emailed back polite direct with attachments, registration, fire department letter, station contact. The whole, "Hey, this is emergency equipment, not a landscaping trailer package." Brenda replied within an hour, and it read like it was written with a ruler. Rules apply equally to all residents. No exceptions. Remove it within 14 days to avoid enforcement. No phone call. No let me check. No thanks for volunteering. Just enforcement. I tried to play it calm. I figured worst case we'd shift it to the station lot sooner than planned. I told the captain I'd handle it because I didn't want to drag the whole department into neighborhood drama. And then I wake up one morning and it's gone. For a second I actually thought maybe the captain moved it without telling me. I called him, and the moment he answered I could tell from his voice that he hadn't. "You're saying it's just missing?" he asked. "I'm saying it's been towed," I said, holding the HOA notice like it might burst into flames. There was a pause. The kind that says, yeah, this is about to get ugly. The tow yard was 15 minutes away, the kind of place surrounded by chain-link fence and regret. I walked in with the notice, my ID, and that weird feeling like I was about to bail my own property out of jail. Except it wasn't my property. The guy behind the counter didn't even blink. "What's the plate?" I gave it to him. He typed. His eyebrows went up just a little, then settled back into that bored look people master when they've seen too many angry humans before lunch. "Yep," he said. "We got it. HOA order." I asked if he noticed the giant fire department markings on it. He shrugged. "We just follow the paperwork." That sentence should come printed on a warning label. He slid a form across the counter and pointed at the total like he was showing me a menu price. $180. Cash or card. I stood there and I could feel heat rising behind my ears, not because of the money, because of the stupidity, because someone with a clipboard had the power to inconvenience an entire emergency response system, and she'd used it like she was moving a shopping cart out of a parking spot. I paid because in that moment I needed the trailer back more than I needed to be right. When they rolled the gate open, I saw it sitting crooked in a corner. Dust on the wheels, and that red and white decal screaming fire rescue like it was trying to be polite in the wrong neighborhood. I hooked it up and pulled out slow, jaw tight, already rehearsing the conversation I was about to have with Brenda in my head. The one where I didn't lose my temper and say something that would get clipped into an HOA meeting minutes document like evidence. By the time I got home, the captain had already looped in the city attorney Ava Chen. Ava isn't loud. She doesn't need to be. She's the kind of person who can ruin your week with a single email subject line. Ava asked me for everything. The violation letter, my reply, Brenda's response, the tow notice, proof of registration. I sent it all over, and as the files uploaded, I stared at my screen and felt something I didn't expect, this heavy, stupid helplessness. Because a part of me was thinking maybe I should have just moved it earlier. Maybe I should have known the HOA would pull something. Maybe I created this headache by trying to be helpful. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't some movie moment. It was just exhaustion. That quiet voice that shows up when you're tired and says maybe you're the problem. Then my phone buzzed. It was the captain. "Jake," he said, "this isn't on you. If we let this slide, they'll do it again, and next time it won't be a trailer. It'll be someone's equipment mid-response." That snapped the fog right off my brain. So we stopped trying to handle it nicely. Ava contacted the city manager's office. Within a day, a meeting was set at City Hall. I walked in with a folder that looked ridiculous on a civilian like me, but it felt good having receipts. Brenda showed up dressed like she was about to chair a congressional hearing. Perfect hair, crisp blazer, the kind of smile that isn't friendly, it's confident. She started before anyone even sat down. "I just want to remind everyone that our community standards exist for a reason." Ava didn't flinch. "You authorized the tow of a registered emergency response asset." Brenda tilted her head like she was correcting a child. "We authorized the removal of an unauthorized vehicle. Residents were notified. Enforcement was proper." The deputy city manager, Nolan Price, finally spoke calm, like he'd done this 100 times. "Did you verify ownership before ordering the tow?" Brenda's eyes flicked just once. The registration could have been fabricated. Ava slid a document across the table. "It's filed with the state, and this is the station's assignment order, and this is your email acknowledging receipt of our notice." Brenda's voice stayed sharp, but I could hear a crack forming. "Rules apply equally, no exceptions." Nolan leaned forward, still calm. "You don't have authority to seize city-registered emergency equipment. That's not an HOA visual nuisance. That's interference." Brenda tried to pivot into that whole government overreach routine like she was the victim of bureaucracy. Ava cut her off. "You're going to reimburse all costs, issue a written apology, and sign a cease and desist acknowledging the limits of your authority. Or the city will file suit and we will refer the matter for criminal review." That's when Brenda's face finally changed. Not anger. Calculation. Like she was running numbers in her head and realizing the math didn't like her. She refused to sign, so the city sued. And suddenly, Maple Crest Estates was famous in the worst possible way. Neighbors whispering posts in local groups. People who'd never waved at me, suddenly having strong opinions about my driveway. Brenda went online calling it a community safety issue. She framed herself as the hero protecting property values from commercial clutter. Except, a lot of people don't love hearing that the thing you called clutter was literally for emergencies. The court date came faster than I expected. I sat in the back, hands clasped, watching Brenda sit up front like she owned the room. She kept that same polished look, the same tight smile, like this was just another committee meeting she'd dominate. The judge, Judge Sofia Delgado, didn't match Brenda's energy at all. No theatrics, just facts. "Ms. Collins," she said, "did you order a tow of the trailer in question?" Brenda lifted her chin. "Yes." "Did you verify ownership before the tow was executed?" Brenda paused just long enough to be noticeable. "No." "Did you receive documentation showing it was registered to the volunteer fire department?" Brenda tried to wiggle. I received an email claiming. The judge's voice didn't rise. It just hardened. "Did you receive documentation?" Brenda swallowed. "Yes." "And you ordered it towed anyway?" Another pause. Smaller, but it was there. "Yes." You could feel the room shift. That quiet moment where everyone hears the same thing and realizes the story is over, even if the judge hasn't spoken yet. The ruling was blunt. Reimbursement, damages, a permanent injunction restricting the HOA from future enforcement actions involving emergency assets, and a referral that made Brenda's lawyer stare at his notes like they'd betrayed him. Back in Maple Crest, it got worse for her fast because the financial hit didn't land on Brenda alone. It landed on the association, which meant it landed on the residents, which meant Brenda had effectively mailed every homeowner a bill for her ego. An emergency board meeting was called. I didn't speak. I didn't have to. People who had defended her suddenly wanted fresh leadership. People who'd been silent suddenly had stories. Vote after vote, her little kingdom collapsed in real time. Brenda lost her position that night. And the last thing I saw before I walked out was her standing in the hallway clutching her binder like a life vest, finally looking like what she'd been all along, someone who mistook authority for ownership. Lesson: when someone hides behind the rules, make them prove they actually have the right to enforce them.